Guys. All right. So the first part of today's training is portfolio building. All right. So a lot of people, a lot of students come to me and ask, "Hey, Hugo, how do I start my copywriting portfolio so that clients actually take me seriously?" So let's dive right in. All right. So this is a doc that you guys can access at the end of today's class. So if you guys want access to that, just let me know in the chat below. But without further ado, let's get right into the portfolio building aspect of today's training. So a lot of people ask me, "Hey, how do I get clients without a portfolio, and how do I build a portfolio without clients?" Right? Um, so the first really important thing that you want to know is self-directed projects, right? So the first thing that you want to do before you have any clients is to rewrite the homepage, the sales page, the ads, the emails, and the funnel of a well-known brand in your niche to showcase your skills. So before we go a bit further, many of you might be asking, "Hey, how do I choose my niche?" Well, the niche kind of training portion is already uploaded in the free school community, so you can check that out right away, because we teach you how to actually find your niche and how to actually get into a good niche. All right. So, besides from today's call, make sure that you check out the school community, because we have a lot of free trainings on there. So make sure that you do check it out. All right. So an example here that I written before for an e-bike brand client is just kind of rewriting their welcome email. Right. So if you don't know what a welcome email is when you sign up to a brand's newsletter, maybe because you're a consumer of that brand, maybe you're interested to get some promotions, some new drops of that brand. A lot of customers subscribe to newsletters, right? You might have gotten these emails in your inbox before from these big brands sending you discount promotions, let's say a Christmas sale, let's say a Halloween sale or a Valentine's Day sale. I'm sure that you've gotten many of these emails before if you buy things online. Right? So one of the first few things that I did for this e-bike brand is to check out how their emails are performing in their welcome sequence, right? So let's check out this email that they used to have, and then we'll also check out the new email that I wrote for them. All right. So the first email is the old email that they used to run. So it says subject, new e-bikes now available. As you can see, the subject line is not very catchy, right? It just says, "Hey, we got a new launch," but it doesn't really give any curiosity to the customer. It just pretty much tells them, "Hey, we've got something new. Dear valued customer, we are pleased to announce that we have new electric bikes available for purchase. It's called the Mountain Explorer e-bike. And here are the features that it includes: a 70-50 watt motor, 48 voltage battery, 5 power levels, LCD display, front suspension." So as you can see, it's really easy to get lost in this email. Just really easy for you to just lose attention, click away. Maybe if there's something else going on in your house, and you just really easily distracted, because it's just not a very engaging email. So what we can do right off the bat is direct ourselves to really write a better email for them, right? So the new email that I wrote was the subject line says, "Your adventure is waiting," right? So, "Hey, first name," as you can see, it's more personalized here rather than "Dear valued customer. Remember that trail you've always wanted to conquer, or that scenic route to work you've avoided because it was too hilly? Your excuses just met their match," right? Introducing the Mountain Explorer, the e-bike that turns "I wish I could" into "Watch me do this," right? So this really targets the audience's specific pain points, right? They might really want to trek high hills with their bikes, but they're just not able to because it's so difficult and it's just really consuming and really just gasses you out really quick. And what this e-bike does is allows you to adventure into new terrains that you haven't been able to before, because it's an electric bike, right? So rather than listing the features, right? The features are, the 70-50 watt battery or the motor. We kind of dive into their problems, right? You can tackle any terrain with the whisper quiet 70-50 watt motor. So in one line here, what we say is that you can, do things that you've never been able to do before. And secondly, we kind of subtly put inside that it's a 70-50 watt motor, and it's also super quiet, which a lot of customers in the e-bike niche like. They like quiet bikes over noisy ones, right? And the second one is ride up to 85 miles on a single charge. So it tells you, how much battery life is there, right? How long can you ride this bike for? So it tackles a very few different objections which the customer has or may have prior to purchasing an e-bike, right? So you're able to tackle that objection in your email. And maybe some person, one person just like has an objection, say, "Hey, I don't know, how long I could ride this bike for." There you go. You tackled it in your email, and that will enable that customer to finally make a decision that, "Hey, I know that this is for me. I'm going to make a purchase from this email," right? So we're not going to go through everything here, but here let's kind of go forward with this email here. But here's a real kicker, right? While other e-bikes leave you stranded with dead batteries or spotty support, we're including our legendary peace of mind package, right? A 1-year comprehensive warranty, free at-home maintenance, check at 6 months, and a 30-day love it or leave it guarantee. So this kind of consolidates the email a little bit more by providing more confidence to the customer. Hey, we've got 1-year warranty, we've got free check-in at 6 months, and we've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, right? On top of that, we also include an early bird special at the bottom. And what this does is gives the reader some urgency, right? So for the first 50 buyers, you save $300. So this encourages the buyer to make a buying decision right away, rather than leaving the buyer to decide on their own when they should or should not buy, right? So this email right here just makes them, decide on the spot, and also provide some urgency so they make a decision right here and then. So that's the power of the email, and this will definitely get more sales than a really, cookie cutter email right here. So right off the bat, you can go ahead and use this as, an example or a portfolio or a first piece of your portfolio should you be operating in the e-bike niche, right? So this works for any niche that you could think of. If you're targeting, fitness niche, if you're targeting courses, if you're targeting coaches, right? If you're targeting software, you can rewrite these emails and just literally use that as your own portfolio. All right. So is everyone following so far? Hope you guys are finding some value so far in today's training. If you have any questions, guys, you guys can feel free to ask me at the end. Turn on your video, turn on your mic, and we can just have a conversation. This is a very intimate call, and I want every one of you to receive as much value as you can, because these calls are for you to learn and for you to get good at copy, and for you to sign your first few clients in 2025, right? So here we go. We have the first email written for that e-bike brand. If you want to write additional emails right after that, you can also add that to your portfolio. All right. So we also have some homework at the end of today's training. So you guys can take the homework home and actually start building your business as we go. All right. Cool. All right. And also at the end, you can see that, it's from a person, you can see it's from Alex, rather than, from Peak E-Bikes. So this makes it more personal, and people, when they read emails, they want to read an email which sounds like coming from a friend versus coming from a company. So it's really valuable to actually add a name that attaches your name to the brand. So that's something that works really well in email marketing. And I want each and every one of you to apply that to your emails as well when you're writing and building up your portfolio. All right. And also you can see a very small PS kind of note at the end. If you're still on the fence, check out a testimonial that, one of our customers have said. Sarah from Colorado, she said, the bike literally changed my life. I've lost weight, as well as enabled me to, have new experiences by myself, right? It's the best investment I've made ever. All right. So the second way to actually build your portfolio is to create samples, similar samples, but for local businesses. So like if you're not really wanting to write proposals or build up a portfolio with famous brands, you can start off with your local businesses. So when I started off, I actually started off writing some emails for gyms because I was really heavily invested in the fitness niche. So I started writing emails for gyms to get them more leads to come in to try out the first gym pass, right? So that's one of the examples that I can use to start off to build your portfolio. And the next kind of section of today's training is client acquisition. All right, so for client acquisition, we're going to teach you guys how to sign your first client and what you should do and what you should not do when signing your first client, right? So the first client acquisition outreach method is called the 10-10-10 method. All right, so what do I mean by that? So the first step is to find 10 businesses in your niche, or in your target niche first, right? So again, if you don't know what your niche is, or if you haven't decided what your niche is yet, then go ahead in the school community to check out the Finding Your Niche classroom, that's class section, where we'll teach you how to actually find your niche and how you can best operate in that niche to find the most clients you can in that niche, right? So the second 10 method is to spend 10 minutes researching each one of your target niches or target businesses, right? You have to do the research before you do your outreach, right? So first you find the 10 businesses. Secondly is you spend 10 minutes, researching each of those businesses. And the third part of the equation is you send 10 personalized outreach messages to those businesses. All right. So it only takes, 30 minutes per business, but it's very, very easy to do. So let's take a look at an example here of an outreach message that we sent to the business, right? So it says, "Hi name, I just signed up for your email list and noticed something interesting. right? Your welcome email is missing a key element that could boost your sales, right? Currently, you're asking subscribers to make a purchase immediately without first establishing what makes your product different from your competitors, right? So right off the bat, we don't start off the email by asking, hey, do you need a copywriter? Or, do you need help with emails? We start off by giving some value to the business by saying, hey, I was just curious about your business. That's why I tried to enroll in the newsletter, and I noticed that the welcome email was too selly, right? Was too salesy, right? So that really turns a lot of customers away. And what you need to do instead, right? So that's what we add. That's what we do in the emails, right? So what we do instead is we actually craft a fresh email for the business, going through what we should actually do in the welcome email. And we say, hey, attached is the Google Doc linking to the emails, no strings attached, right? You don't have to pay me for these emails. I'm not going to ask for anything for these emails, but in exchange, if you like them, then I'm hoping that you're open for a conversation with me, because, I would love to write emails for you. And, I can see that, I can definitely provide value and make you guys a lot more money, right? So we start off by giving instead of asking, right? You want to be able to make sure that they feel like they have their problems met, and and you're the solution for that. All right. So you want to start off by identifying a problem in their business and mention that problem in your email and provide the solution all in one message. All right. So that's what's super strong about this outreach strategy, is that you find your businesses, right? You do your market research, then you start writing the email copy to be able to also not only up your portfolio, because you can use that email as your portfolio, but secondly, is also use that as an outreach, right? So let me kind of go through an example of 30 or something emails that I've written for an Icaria juice. All right. So this is a supplement brand that I used to work with, and which is really heavily running ads on ClickBank. All right. So our team actually went ahead and wrote almost 30 emails for this brand. And that was what enabled us to sign this brand, because they were doing millions a month and they needed a good copywriter. And they didn't have really good copy. And that was what enabled us to write so many good emails for them. All right. So their product is a product which enables people to lose fat, right? So it's called, the belly juice. And let's go through, an example here. Okay. So it says, from menopause tummy, and the subject is, drink this belly fat Dreno juice to lose 28 pounds in 21 days. All right. As you can see, this subject line is super catchy, and it induces a lot of curiosity. Like, hey, I want to lose 28 pounds in 21 days. Like, what's this email about? Let me click on the email. So once they clicked on the email, they start reading the email. Weight loss stuck. You may have toxic fatty acids that block weight loss. According to this recent study, this fatty acid forces fat cells to stream into your blood and causes your body to pack on internal visceral fat. So what this does is saying, hey, like, are you stuck right now? Well, this is the reason why you're stuck, right? So that we're actually giving them some information of why they're, experiencing this problem, right? We go further in depth into why they're experiencing this problem. And then at the end, we say, hey, like, this is the solution, right? And actually, in fact, almost 70,000 people are drinking this solution every morning, and they're losing, an average 28 pounds of fat in as little as 21 days. And if you want to do that, then click on the link here, right? Super simple. And what we have to do, what we do is pretty much repeat that email many, many times in a different style. All right. So this is an example that we actually wrote for a client and wanted to showcase that in today's training. All right. So the next really important thing is positioning, right? Positioning yourself in a way that you are not only have a huge advantage, but also positioning your disadvantages and your weaknesses as strengths, right? So to start off, you want to position yourself in one of these ways, right? So first of all, let's select our industry, right? Are you in SaaS? Are you in software? Are you in e-commerce? Are you in health? Are you in coaching? And secondly, is to establish the format, right? How do you want to help these businesses, right? Is it by email copy? Is it by landing page copy? Or is it by social media copy, right? This is the formats, how, or the medium in which you deliver your service or deliver your copy. And the third thing is the outcome, right? What are you hoping to get them as a result from your, let's say, email page copy, right? Is it more leads? Is it lead generation, right? Is it more sales? You want to get them more sales and more revenue? Or is it more retention? You want their customers to buy from them longer and more, right? That's retention. Or lifetime value, right? That's pretty much the same thing. You want to get their customers to always come back, rather than only, purchasing from them one time, right? So you're providing a lot of different, there's a lot of different ways you could go about it, right? So the first thing a lot of copywriters make as a mistake is they say that I'm a copywriter, right? Instead, you should really target, excuse me, you should really target their pain points and really be specific in your industry, right? Say like, hey, I help, e-bike companies increase sales with email copy, right? So there we go. We have a niche, and then you also have a medium in which how you deliver in a niche, right? So that's super important versus just saying, hey, I'm a copywriter, right? So that's a really important tip that you guys should take away with you today and write that down. And a really common, these are some really common questions that I get from some students. They say, hey, Hugo, what if they don't respond to my, this outreach email, right? The first thing you want to do is then follow the 377 follow-up system. All right. So this is a system that I use still to this day, which works really well. If you guys are more pushy, you guys can reduce the time duration between each message. But this is how it goes as a cookie cutter template, right? So first, after your first message, you want to wait 3 days. Then you want to send, hey, John, right? Just checking in to see if you saw my suggestions for your welcome sequence. It's already written. You can plug and play. Just give me a reply back if you want to use it, right? And after that, if John still doesn't reply, you want to wait 7 days, right? After 7 days, you want to send, hey, John, I have a couple more ideas that could help boost your email conversions. Would you be interested in hearing them? Right? That would be the second message. And then the third message, if John still doesn't reply, is the final follow-up sequence or the bye-bye message, right? Saying, hey, John, I'm assuming you're too busy, interested in improving your email copy. If anything changes, feel free to reach out, right? It's not, bye-bye from there. It's just saying, hey, like for now, this might not be the best time, but John might reach out back to you 6 months from now, 12 months from now, right? You never know, right? I have clients that reach out to me even 2 years later after sending the first initial outreach message. So never give up on your leads. Always have that potential there. So it's never, bye-bye. It's always maybe in the future, right? Secondly, what if they can't afford me, right? First of all, is you don't want to ever lower your price, right? Instead, you want to adjust the scope, right? So rather than, let's say, hey, rather than working with you for 1 month for, let's say, 1.5K a month, why don't we spread that over for 3 months? So I do less work, but 1.5K spread over 3 months. Let's say I originally wanted to write you 30 emails a month. Let's say I write you 10 emails a month over the course of 3 months, right? You can spread the timeline of the project, right? But never, ever lower your price, all right? So an example is this, right? We could start with just the first welcome email versus the entire 7 email sequence, right? As you guys may know, a welcome sequence has over 3 emails, right? Usually it's around 3 to 7 emails, but rather than writing 7 emails for them, you can just write the first one, right? So now I would create a template system you could use for future emails, right? So rather than selling a 1.5K a month retainer for this client, you're saying, hey, this is a system that you can use for $500 that you could do it yourself, and this will make you money for months on months to come. All right. So that's another thing that you could say if they were to say, hey, like you're too expensive, right? The third thing is, like I mentioned just now, is to spread the project over 2 to 3 months, and always don't never say, it's going to cost you 1.5K, right? You always want to say, the investment with us is going to be 1.5K. All right. So it's because it's an actual business investment rather than a cost. All right. A lot of people and a lot of business owners see hiring people as a cost, but it's actually an investment. All right. So you want to position it as an investment and not an expense. All right. A welcome sequence can generate you 3 to 4 times or 3 to 4x more revenue than a basic one. So tell it to them, right? A lot of businesses don't know that. So it's your job to tell them that, hey, you can make a lot more money, actually 10x, 3 to 4x, that's more than 10x money by, recrafting your welcome sequence with us versus, having your welcome sequence just as it is, because you're actually losing money and leaving money on the table by not working with me. All right. The third question I get is, how do I compete with experienced copywriters? Right? You don't compete on experience, you compete on attention and specialization. That's why it's really important, as we mentioned just now, is don't say I'm a copywriter, because this means that you're very general, right? You want to say, hey, I helped industry increase sales with, let's say, email copy or sales-based copy or ad copy. All right. So that's something that I hope you guys are all taking away right now. And, rather than competing on experience, you want to compete on turnaround times because a lot of you guys might have more time on your hands than money, right? So then you have more time to actually fulfill those clients, reply to them. And a lot of clients stay on just because you are attentive to their business, right? A lot of clients want someone who is, close to them and always really in the business versus someone who has a lot of clients and never really pays any attention to them, right? Something that I use a lot and that you guys should use right now as well is say that, hey, big name copywriters often juggle many, many different clients, but I'm focused on delivering exceptional results for only a select few clients. And a lot of clients love that. So you guys should definitely use that in your outreach. And if your client says, hey, like, are you not experienced? Or like maybe you have the thought, maybe I'm not experienced enough to do this. No, scratch that. That's a limiting belief. And you should always be able to, list your weaknesses as an advantage, right? Because that's true. You have more time to spend on each client, and therefore you'll be able to generate better results for each client because you're giving them more attention, and therefore they're more happy as well. All right, cool. So now we've kind of dove into client acquisition, portfolio building. Now let's get into the pricing and strategy section of the class, right? So how should you price as a copywriter? How much should you charge? A lot of people ask me, hey, how much should I charge per email? I'm afraid to charge, $1,000 a month. What should I do, right? We'll go into that right now. All right, so one of the scariest things as a new copywriter is quoting your first price, is saying your price to the client. That might be really scary, right? So let me show you how to price confidently today and create proposals that actually get signed, okay? So the first thing is the general pricing structure, all right? So for email sequences, we usually do $150 to $300 per email. And that's pretty basic kind of, pretty basic rate. And as you can see, if you write 30 emails a month, that's equal to 1 email a day. You could be making over $9,000 a month, right? Website copy, which is homepage, $500 to $750 per page. And then for product descriptions, it's $75 to $150 each. And a lot of people have, different product descriptions, right? They have many products on their pages. So let's say an e-com brand comes over and has 50 different t-shirts on their website, and they're like, hey, Hugo, I want you to rewrite the product descriptions for all 50 of them, right? So that's 150, that's $75 to $150 times 50, right? Well, you might not have to start with 50, but you might start with 1. And if you really impress them, they might give you all 50 to do. So this is a very lucrative business to get into. And the only kind of obstacle that you need to get into is to find clients and get good at copy, right? Get good at the skill and the clients will come. Right? A lot of people ask me, hey, Hugo, I don't know how to I'm not good at copy. How do I find clients? Well, get good at copy, right? If you get good at copy, then you can find clients and clients will come to you, right? Don't skip the hard work, right? Get good at copy first, and then also do your client outreach on the side. All right. So these rates give you room to grow while also being very attractive to small businesses, right? They're high enough to be taken seriously, but also accessible for, first-time clients, right? A lot of people say like, hey, I'm not, confident in charging $300 per email. Well, if you charge $50 per email, who's going to take you seriously, right? They might as well hire someone from the Philippines who doesn't really know English for $5, right? You are positioning yourself as a professional because you're here to change their business. You're here to help their business. So you should charge what you're worth. And this is what you're worth as a beginner, all right? This is beginner prices, and you can always increase your prices as you go on, right? As you have more experience, as you have more clients under your belt, you should definitely increase your prices. And in fact, just this year, January, I have increased my prices because I increase my prices every 6 months, and clients have no problem doing that. Okay, as long as you make them money, your clients will be happy. All right. Secondly, a lot of guys ask me, hey, Hugo, should I do project-based pricing versus hourly pricing? Right? Should I charge per hour? Should I get paid by the hour, or should I get paid per project? Right? Let's say one project includes 30 emails, right? Should I get, paid per project, or should I get paid per hour of work that I do? All right. So this is what enables you to really scale past that 10K per month mark, is by charging project-based. Okay. I want you all to actually take that home today, is charge project-based versus charging per hour. All right, so always quote per project, and here's why, right? Clients care about deliverables and not your time. They care about what gets done, not how much time you spend on getting that done, right? As long as you get it done and as long as you make the money, they don't care what you're doing. And if they are caring what you're doing, then they're not the right client to work with in the first place, right? You won't be punished for working efficiently, and it's also easier to sell value when you're not trading hours for dollars, right? You don't want to be micromanaged, right? You want to be able to write a good piece of copy on your own time, send that to your client. Your client then uploads that to their business, and that makes them a lot more money. And that is what enables you to charge per project, is because every single piece of copy you put out there makes them a lot more money. So then they're not interested in how much time you spent on it. They're interested in, hey, like how do we get more money from this, right? Great work. Okay. Third thing is proposal structure, right? So here's what you should include in your first proposal, right? So the first thing is client overview. So the first thing you should do is show the client that you understand their problem and their goals. Secondly is you should reflect that in the language that you're talking to them with, right? Secondly is the project scope, right? How many emails will the client receive every single month from you? How many emails are you going to write for them? They need to understand how many emails you're going to write for them. Otherwise, if it's unclear, this leads to a lot of problems down the line, right? You get underpaid, you don't get paid on time, right? A lot of different problems that I've experienced and I don't want you to experience yourself. All right. The third thing is investment, right? Make sure that you clearly state your price and also payment terms, right? How often will they pay you, right? If they don't pay you on time, what will happen, right? And any bonuses or additional value that you might get as a copywriter. So something really important here is commission, right? A lot of copywriters don't have an idea of what commission is. They might think that that's only for the sales guy to get, right? A sales guy closes something over the phone, let's say for 5K, he gets 500 bucks, right, as commission, right? But many people don't understand that you can also do the same for copywriting, right? Which is awesome because you don't have to show your face, you don't have to hop on the phone, right? All you have to do is go on a Google Doc just like this and just write, right? You literally just write. You just literally hop on Google Doc and you write. You probably already do that if you have a desk job right now, right? If you're working a 9 to 5 right now, you probably already use Google Docs, right? But in this case, you're also making commissions off of the sales you generate them with your copy, right? So it's in your incentive to write good copy for them because you also get paid commission. You can always ask, hey, let's say I'm working with a client right now who pays me $2,000 a month, right? After the first month working with them, I made them, let's say $15,000. You can then say, hey, for the next month, I could charge you 2K and I'll just ask for a little bit more, 5% on top, 5% of the sales that I generate you with copy. So now you're not trading your time for money as well, right? Whether you're in your sleep, your clients are getting sales from your copy and you're getting paid, 10%, 5%. All right, this is literally a hack. All right. You're able to get paid on a monthly basis as well as commission. All right. And that's only from one client, right? Let's say you have 4 clients, 5 clients. That's, passive income coming in. All right. We call this royalties in copy, right? You're receiving royalties for writing a great piece of work, right? Therefore, you should get paid for it. And you should also mention this in your contract, right? We'll go a bit into that in a bit. All right. So next step is to clear call to action. So after you've mentioned, how much it is, what they need, you then need to mention, hey, what's the next step? The next step, is to pay us, is to pay me, right? Pay the deposit or pay me for my month of work. And now let's decide on when work will begin, right? Will it start tomorrow? Will it start next week? Will it start next month, right? Decide now with the client, make sure both parties are clear and to make sure that, hey, we both know what's going on and when it's going on. All right. So the few red flags to watch for when you're working with clients is if they ask, hey, I want to only pay you per word, or I want it to be as cheap as possible, or I want to, pay you per hour, right? These are a few red flags that I want you to look out for. And if any client asks you to do this, then I encourage you to turn away. If you're really hungry though, you can always take that job, right? But it'll be a lot of headaches down the line. Okay. All right, so let's do a quick exercise, guys. So let's practice creating a quick proposal. So imagine a client needs 5 emails from you for their product launch. What are the few questions that you would ask them before quoting? All right, so I want this to be an activity, guys. So if you don't want to participate right now, you can always do this later. But I'm going to do this live with you right now. All right, so the first thing I would ask them is, okay, so you want 5 emails for your product launch. What are you selling? That's the first question. What are you selling? Let's say you're selling a $997 product on a fitness product, helping weight loss. Cool. You're selling a weight loss product. Second question is, how much are you selling it at? $997. There we go. Right? Thirdly is you want to ask them what their target audience is. Have you done a launch before? Right? If you have not done a launch before, this is your first launch. How prepared are you for this launch? Right? You want to ask them, okay, cool. This is the price. This is your target demographic. Cool. You've never done this before. Let's plan this out right now. Right? So the third thing is you want to ask them, what email software do you use? Right? Because you want to send emails, right? A client needs 5 emails from you, right? So you want to ask them, hey, how do you send your emails currently? What software do you use to send emails? A lot of softwares include, ActiveCampaign, Klaviyo, MailChimp, right? These 3 are really good ones, right? A lot of these businesses will be using one of those 3, or if not all 3, right? So what are you using to send emails? And next question is, what is your email list size? How many people are on your list? Is there 1,000 people? Is there 10,000 people? Is there 30,000 people? As a copywriter, you should know this piece of information, and it's important that you ask them. This also shows that you're professional, right? If they ask you, hey, write 5 emails for you, and you're just like, cool, okay, I'll write 5 emails for you. You're not a good copywriter because you don't know their problems. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know where they host their emails. You don't know how many emails are sent, right? You want to ask these questions. You want to be like a doctor. You want to be very specific about your questions. All right. The next question, right? Let's say they did do a launch before, right? How did that launch go? Let's say they have a 5,000 people email list, right? And they converted at 2% on their 997 product, right? That's around 97 grand in sales from that email blast, right? If my math is correct, 97 grand. So then you can expect to make 97 grand or more in the future because you're coming in, you're helping them launch the sale. They did 97 grand on their previous sale. Now let's aim for 150. And that leads to my next question, right? What do you expect? What does the client expect from this launch, right? Do you want to hit 100K? Do you want to hit 200K? Right? Do you want more leads? Do you want more? What do you want from this launch? What do you expect from this launch? Setting expectations is also very important, right? So that would be the next question that you ask them. What are we expecting from this launch? We're expecting 150K. Let's hit 150K, right? So those are the few questions you want to ask in your proposal. And then the next question will be, okay, now that we've established, how many emails you want me to write, what's the expected sales you want me to write? Now that I have all the information that I need to help you write emails, because now I have your software, right? I have your log into the software as well. So our team can log into the software and help you do this, right? The next question would be price, right? Pay me now, right? So now we have all these information. Now it's time to settle the payment so that we can start getting to work, right? We want to get to work as fast as possible. So if you pay us as soon as you can, we're going to get to work as soon as we can, right? If you pay us 3 days from now, then we're only going to get to work 3 days from now. You want to position it so that they want to incentivize them to pay you earlier, right? As soon as you pay me, we get to work, right? So if you want me to get to work quicker, then you pay me now. All right. You want to frame it to benefit them. Okay. So I hope that this exercise was super helpful for all of you. I'll have a few more homework questions later on that you guys can also do on your own time. I want you guys to actually do that within the week because it's going to really help you with your business. Okay. Next, super important pillar when starting your copywriting business is business foundations. All right. How are you going to start this copywriting business, right? How are you going to start the side hustle? All right. So let's talk about it a little bit. All right. So what are the tools to start? Right. The first tool you need is Workspace. All right. Google Workspace account. All right. So that's $6 a month. All right. And that also includes a professional email, right? Let's say hugo@yourdomain.com. All right. If you guys don't know what a domain is, it's literally just like a website. You want to name your company something, right? You don't want to name your company just your name, right? You want to name it something, right? Something like since we're in the advertising and marketing space, copywriting is all about, targeting sales, marketing, advertising. People, a lot of people like to name their brand somethingmedia.com, right? Let's say admedia.com, right? So that's an example. Second thing you need is Google Docs for writing and collaboration. You want to usually collaborate on writing copy with your team. If you don't have a team, if you're writing by yourself, then you want to also use Google Docs because, this is what I use to this day to write emails, Google Docs. You don't need some fancy writing software for that, right? This is what makes it so lucrative, so easy to start. is because everyone has access to these. Third thing is calendar for client meetings. All right, so for calendar, we use Calendly. And what this enables the client to do is they're able to book a time with you on a calendar, and they're able to then hop on a meeting with you, right? A one-on-one meeting for you. This is really professional and eliminates back and forth, right? Rather than emailing them back and forth over 20 emails and getting lost in their inbox, because that's what these businesses get lost of emails. It might get lost in their inbox. You want to schedule a meeting with them face to face, right? Another one is simple website, right? You can use card.co, which is the cheapest one right now. It's $19 a year, or a basic WordPress website, which is super professional, but it will cost around 100 to 150 to set up. So WordPress is on the more expensive side, and the Google and Card is more on the cheaper side. So I recommend you start with Card if you're on a limited budget. All right. And if you are doing WordPress, then I recommend you hire someone to actually design your website for you. Because it makes a huge difference. And if you're spending $100 to $150 to set up, then expect a good website. All right. And all you need is your offer, your portfolio, and your contact info on that website. All right. And that portfolio, we talked about it just now on how to build your portfolio. It's just writing mock emails for brands and local businesses in your area or in your niche. And it's just really easy to build up. All you have to do is create a separate page on the website saying portfolio, and then you should literally link Google Docs there of the work that you've done with your clients, right? Secondly, really important aspect of business foundations is client contracts, right? So I've been burned a lot before, and a lot of in this business, a lot of people and a lot of businesses ask for revisions, right? They're like, "Hey, Hugo, I am not happy with what you wrote this month, right? I want you to rewrite it, right? I want you to rewrite it maybe not just once. I want you to rewrite it 3 times." Right? The second revision, I'm not even happy with it. I want you to write it again, right? So some clients have, offered to actually have me rewrite it more than 10 to 30 times per month when I first started out, right? I got paid once, and I'm pretty much writing them new copy every single day. So they're just literally using me like a slave, right? And I don't want that to happen to any one of you, right? And that's why I host this call today. I want you guys to avoid the mistakes I've made, and also get to your target much quicker than I did. All right. So you want to outline everything in the contract. Revision policy, 2 rounds is typical. So 2 revisions. Should your client is not satisfied with your copy, then you offer 2 revisions max. If they want more revisions, then they'll have to pay. Okay. And in the client contract, you want to also outline, the project scope, right? What are you achieving with the client in this project, right? You're writing 50 emails for them in the course of 2 months, right? Those emails should be sent to the client every single day or every single week. You and the client have to decide on that. All right. Payment terms, right? Do they want to give you, let's say you're getting paid $2,000 a month. Do you want to get paid $1,000 at the beginning of the month, $1,000 at the end, or do you want to get paid $2,000 up front? Right? If they think you're too expensive, split that payment up to 2 months, right? $2,000 for 2 months rather than $1,000 a month. Okay. And also outline your timeline and milestones, right? So how long will the project be, right? And a kill fee, right? So what a kill fee is if the client cancels or stops working with you, they'll actually have to pay an amount to actually end the contract, right? So that turns a lot of clients away, but it's something that you need to use to stop being burned by these clients, right? Because at the end of the day, your time is as valuable as theirs. Okay. Third thing is payment systems, right? You want to keep it simple, professional, right? A lot of things that a lot of people ask me is, "Hey, Hugo, how do I accept payments?" Right? I don't know how to receive the payment from the client. How am I supposed to get that money in my bank account? Great question, right? First thing is to set up a Stripe account, right? So for credit cards, Stripe charges 2.9% plus a 30-cent fee per transaction. All right. Secondly is you can also use PayPal for international clients, bank transfers for a lot of larger projects. So let's say a copy client comes to you and says, "Hey, Hugo, I want you to write me copy for the whole year, right? And I'll pay you upfront now for the whole year, right?" Usually the projects like these, you want to accept bank transfer. First of all, it's a lot more professional. Second of all is that bank transfers usually have, I think, a smaller fee depending on where you are. But for larger projects, you want to use bank transfer. But for every single day, usual contract, usual payments, I use Stripe. All right. So you guys should set up a Stripe account if you haven't yet and start invoicing your clients from Stripe. Okay. And, this professional invoicing is a software that, some people use, but I don't think you have to use yet. You can just create contracts on Google Doc as well. All right. All right, guys. So I'm going to also include some homework for you guys to do to take home today. So I'm going to paste it in the chat right now. All right. So for everyone attending today, this is your homework. And then after this, you guys are I'm going to be opening up the class for questions. All right. So the two tasks that I want you guys to do today is to find one business website and write an improved version of it. Okay. Or the main headline or the first paragraph. And then you can then upload that and use that as your first portfolio piece. All right. Congrats, right? You got your first portfolio piece. Right, a lot of you ask me, hey, I'm having trouble building my portfolio. Well, here you go. Here's your homework to do tonight. All right. All right. So I'm going to be answering all the questions in just a minute, guys. Don't worry. But the second task is create a proposal template using the structure I just shared. All right. Having this ready means you can send proposals quickly when opportunities arise. All right.